Hello, friends, and welcome to the Professional Procrastinator. I'm your host, Rohila, and if you're tuning in, chances are you're ready to turn the page on your procrastination habits. Each episode is a step towards action. No guilt, just positive energy and better strategies. Let's jump in and make procrastination a thing of the past. Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Professional Procrastinator podcast. I'm your host, Rohila. And if you listened to last week's episode, the 3 bad habits that we all share, one of the key concepts that I talked about was the power of 15 minutes. In fact, it was so powerful and has affected my life in such a positive way that I wanted to dedicate an entire episode to it. So today's episode, we'll talk about how powerful 15 minutes can truly be. This started way back for me, back in middle school. I started noticing that I was procrastinating in cleaning my bedroom. Again, back when I was in middle school. I had books, toys, magazine, baseball equipment, soda cans, more things spread all over. Now, eventually, I would get in trouble from my parents and was told to clean my room. So I would look around and see this mess, and it just became so overwhelming and daunting. Where would I start? Where would I finish? It was just an unbelievable task. It was so daunting because I had the wrong finish line in my head. In my head, I had to get the entire room clean. And what that did was that kicked off my procrastination because I was now evaluating how much effort it was going to take to clean my room versus how much could I live with. And for me, it was no problem. I knew where everything was, but for my parents, it was not good enough. So I knew I had to do something. The finish line I had in mind was the wrong finish line. It was perfection. It was a spotless room. And we do that in other aspects of our lives as well. We tend to overcomplicate things by having the wrong finish line because what we're expecting is, again, perfection. So I did have a TV in my room, and what I would do is clean just during commercials. Essentially, it was a little game that I would play with myself. How much could I clean between the commercial breaks? And what happened was I surprised myself. I was actually able to clean a lot more than I thought. And so a typical 30-minute TV show would have a couple commercial breaks, and that gave me enough time to start making my room cleaner, to start building momentum, and it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. I've carried that on into my adult life now. Anytime I don't want to do something, I give myself 15 minutes of action. And what that means is I move as fast as I can. I just take action. I don't overthink. I just take action again. So in my home office, for example, if my desk is messy, what I'll do is I'll take a look at the clock and I'll set 15 minutes for myself. And then I just put everything away as quick as I can. If I have time to do more stuff, such as dusting, I'll do that. But again, the key is limiting yourself to 15 minutes. What that's going to do is that's going to build momentum. And another concept that I spoke about in last week's episode was instead of evaluating the amount of gain that you would have based off the amount of effort you would put in, what you want to do is you want to switch that around to evaluate the gain that you would have versus the avoidance. And even though it may not sound like it, avoiding something is pleasurable because, again, going back to our default behaviors, is it more fun to clean or is it more fun to maybe watch an episode of a TV show or something like that, right? And so what we do is we have the wrong evaluation. We are evaluating the gain versus the effort instead of the gain versus the pleasure that we get from avoiding it. The gain in this example is I'm going to have a cleaner office. And that is something that you have to evaluate as well. What would be the gain versus the pleasure that you would get from avoiding it? And I understand that it can be daunting and overwhelming, but here are some tips. 1, take before and after pictures. I know that sounds crazy, but you can do so much in just those 15 minutes. If I take a picture of my messy desk and then 15 minutes later, I take a picture of my clean desk and just create a quick collage, what that's going to do is I'm going to be able to visually see how my efforts have paid off. It takes little things like this to truly start building momentum. And the other thing is group activities together. So you don't just have to clean for 15 minutes, but what you can do is group your activities together for that action plan. For example, clean your personal email. At work, our inboxes, at least should be, spotless and clean. But when it comes to our personal stuff, we don't spend the time to clean things out. So go through your inbox, delete stuff, unsubscribe from things, and just take the 15 minutes and just clean your inbox. You're going to already notice a difference right away. The other thing is get rid of that disastrous pit of having a miscellaneous drawer. The term miscellaneous is something that I'm going to talk about in a further episode, because what it does is it destroys your productivity. Anytime you don't know what to do with something, you stick it in that miscellaneous drawer. And we all have one. For example, for me, I've got it downstairs on my kitchen island, an entire drawer of just miscellaneous stuff that is just taking up stuff. It's all over the place, and it causes a distraction. Anytime I don't know what to do with something, I'll stick it in that drawer and essentially forget about it. And when we forget about something, out of sight, out of mind, it just continues to build. And that small little miscellaneous drawer is now so thick, so packed, so filled that sometimes I even struggle closing the drawer. So I guess I have an action item for myself after this podcast recording and clean that drawer out. But again, get rid of that disastrous pit of having a miscellaneous drawer. Another thing you could do is clean out your closet. For 15 minutes, you can make a drastic impact. Get rid of clothes that you don't wear anymore. Just toss it off to the side to donate to Goodwill. For me, I just have a ton of collection of old movie stubs. I hold on to them, and after movies, when I come home, I empty out my pockets, and then I just kind of leave the stuff there. So go through your closet, clean things up a little bit. Again, 15 minutes is what you are striving for. Go through your refrigerator or pantry. This is something that may be a bit disastrous when you realize that you have an apple that is now multiple colors in the very back, or a sandwich that is all green. So take the time, go through your refrigerator, go through your freezer, see what items you need to keep, what you need to toss. Same thing with your pantry. A lot of times when things are not refrigerated and they're just in a pantry, we don't pay attention to the expiration dates. Go through everything and throw out that old box of Cheez-Its from 3 years ago. Another thing is vacuum only a single room. Again, what you want to do is you want to build momentum. So don't feel overwhelmed by having to clean your entire house and vacuum your entire house. Only focus on one room. That's where the power of 15 minutes kicks in, is you are focused in one area. And lastly, something else that you could do is just clean out your car. We all have old receipts and maybe some Taco Bell wrappers. Speaking to myself there. But go through your trunk, go through your back seats, empty out that glove box, that armrest storage area in your drawer. All right, in your doors, you've got additional storage. Just go through it and just clean stuff out. Just toss stuff. Again, 15 minutes, and you don't want perfection. That's not what you're aiming for. If you focus on perfection, you're setting yourself up. Just build momentum. So this has been another quick episode. We'll get to longer ones coming up. But to sum it up, today we explored the power that just 15 minutes can bring you in combating your negative procrastination habits. 15 minutes is way longer than you think that it might be, but it is enough to build some serious momentum. It's also long enough to start seeing some real results. And instead of focusing on gain versus pleasure, evaluate gain versus avoidance. And lastly, group your tasks together so that you're operating in a single room or a single task like cleaning out your inbox for your email. Use the power of 15 minutes to revolutionize your life. Thank you for spending time with me. Hopefully it wasn't just another form of procrastination. I'm Rohila, reminding you that sometimes later becomes never. So do it now. You deserve it.